Hi guys, today we're going to do the coconut cream pie. I've got all my ingredients over there and I am going to use my farm fresh eggs. I still haven't got rid of those grocery store eggs, but oh well. I haven't made custard or cream pie like this, or excuse me, this is a cream pie, not custard. I haven't made one of these in years from scratch, so who knows what we're going to get, right? So let's, I'm going to get the camera over here and let's get started. You make a single crust and you bake it. And it's in the pan. I had it in the refrigerator overnight to cool. You wouldn't normally have to do that, but I just did it just because. And now let's get started on the pie. I got my ingredients ready to go. Okay, first we need to separate, did you hear that? First we need to separate 3 eggs. Let's see if I can do it. This is the way I was taught, and since I need it done without the yolk in it. Woohoo, 1. Now I'll tell you, the yolk broke the minute I put it in there. So I'm going to get an extra bowl. I forgot that that's what they recommended, is to break your egg whites in separately. That way, in case you do get yolk, when you're making meringue, if you get just a little bit of yolk in there, it's not going to whip up the way it should. That I remember. I don't know if it's still true, but I was always told that. No. Egg number 2. And all I'm doing is I just dump the yolk back and forth until the white separates. And the yolks will go into the cooked part of the pie and the whites will go into the meringue. And I've got one more. There's other ways of doing this, but this seems to work for me. So I'm just going to keep on doing it. Alright, I got lucky. I didn't get any yolk into my whites. Okay, I'm going to set my egg whites aside. I'm going to put them underneath you guys. And I'm going to go wash my hands again. I've got my saucepan here. And since I haven't done this for a long time, I'm going to be actually a little bit more careful and do it the correct way. So it calls for 6 tablespoons of sugar. And I probably could use a measuring cup and go faster. Good grief! I did it again. Blah, 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 blah. I get to talking and I lost count. So since I can't count, we're going to do it this way. I've got to put it back in. 1/3 cup is 5 1/3 tablespoons. So since I don't want to lose count, we'll call that a 1 1/3. 1 2/3 because it was a heaping tablespoon. So I'm going to say we got 6 tablespoons of sugar in there. And then I need 5 tablespoons of flour. Put that in there. 1/3 cup. 5 tablespoons, 5 1/3, but we won't get too technical. And 1/4 teaspoon salt. And I will say, over the years, I've had people that have been put on low salt diets ask, can I just omit the salt in my baking and cooking? And I tell them no, salt is a leavening product. You really need to put the salt in there. What I recommend is when you're cooking, don't put food into, let's say you're making vegetables. Don't put food when you're cooking. Put the salt, or yeah, don't put food in your pan, because what are you going to eat then? Don't put salt in when you're cooking. Put the salt on the table. And that's one way that you can reduce the amount of salt that you use. And I've started doing that more and more now. And at one time I thought I was going to die if I didn't have salt, but I'm a salt fanatic. So I'm going to blend. I'm not supposed to use that. I'm going to anyway because I don't particularly care for those rubberized whisks. They don't seem to do the job. So I've mixed my flour, sugar, and salt in here. And I have 2 cups of milk. And it didn't specify. I'm sure that whole milk would be better. We drink 2% around here. And I've learned from experience, don't walk off and let this do its thing, because that's where I went wrong when I made it before. Better get the rubberized one out. I want to show you guys these eggs. These farm fresh yolks are almost orange. I get my eggs, well, it's from our renter, but their chickens are free range, and this is what you're going to get, is a rich, almost orange egg yolk. Tastes so much better. I'm still cooking the sugar and flour and milk mixture, and you bring it up until it becomes thick and bubbly. Then you turn the heat down and let it cook for 2 more minutes. Okay guys, it has cooked for 2 minutes and it's very thick. And now what we're going to do is add some of the hot mixture to the eggs a little at a time. The idea is you don't want to cook your eggs. So put this in. I did take the egg yolks and whip them up. Keep stirring when you add the cream mixture, because like I said, definitely don't want lumpy eggs. Now I gotta see. So from there, now I'm going to stir this well as I add the warmed eggs into it. Oh wow, that's beautiful gold. Almost looks like lemon, it's so pretty. Makes it, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Now we turn the heat back on and let it come back up to a bubble and cook for 2 more minutes. Or actually what it says is a gentle boil. Holy smokes, this is beautiful. Looks more like lemon cream pie. Keep stirring like this, guys, so it doesn't scorch on the bottom. And it is a beautiful, creamy, golden. Wow, this turned out so good, I just might make more cream pie. I'd like to find a good recipe for chocolate cream pie. I've made French silk pie, if you've ever had that. It's also rather labor intensive, but boy, is it worth it. And pretty rich. Got some chocolate lovers in my family, so when the holidays roll around, that's usually one of the first pies that people ask for. Pumpkin, pecan, and French silk. Okay, timer's ready to go off. Turn off the heat. Then you add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Have you guys priced vanilla? Whoa! I'm glad I stocked up and bought in bulk. I was taught that years ago. Use the lid to measure vanilla. Close enough. They whip that in there good. Wow. And coconut calls for 1 cup of coconut. I'm going to double check the recipe. Oh, half a cup. We would have had coconut cream pie. Yeah, it's a little more than a half, but coconut, right? So let's make it coconutty. Yeah. I know, I'm gonna follow the recipe exact. You didn't really believe that, did you? Okay, now, here's our pie crust. There is the cream pie. Now, those are not lumps, that's coconut. And I'm going to pour that right into our baked. Oh, you know where I went wrong? Oh well. Hopefully my meringue will be really big. I'm supposed to use a 9-inch pan. I used a 10-inch. Something tells me this time it really is a 10-inch because most of these things are not. Okay, there you go, guys. Now, let's make the meringue. To tell you the truth, this is the one I'm the most concerned about. Let me get things set up. Okay, guys. I've got the egg whites. I'm using my stand mixer. When you do egg whites or whipped cream, you need to use metal or glass, not plastic, because plastic appliances can hold grease in it. They're not going to whip up. So I've got my 3 egg whites in here. This is going to be noisy. And it calls for the egg whites 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So I'm going to add that to the egg white, and then I'm going to get it going, whipping and whirling. Alright guys, the egg whites have been whipping, and you whip it until it forms soft peaks. And you see that when you raise it up, and a peak that falls over. Then, as it's going, I've got 6 tablespoons of sugar measured in here, and you start it going again, and adding your sugar 1 tablespoon at a time. Going to be loud, so I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, now we want it to form stiff peaks. Stiff peaks are when they don't no longer fold over, and we're at that stage right now. So we're going to go over and put this meringue on onto the warm pie filling. Look how beautiful that looks. Looks like whipped cream, doesn't it? Okay, I've also had my oven preheating to 350 degrees. Because what we're going to do after we get the meringue on is we're going to put it in the oven, I can't remember, 12 to 15 minutes maybe. Because what you want to do is just basically until it's a golden brown. And another thing you need to do with meringue is make sure that you go around and seal the edges. And well, y'all saw what happens when I try to concentrate and jabber at the same time. So I'm going to smooth this meringue out. And then I'm just going to make little peaks in it. I don't know why. Because it looks pretty, that's why. And then we're going to sprinkle some coconut on the top. That way it's a dead giveaway that it's coconut. I hope I got all my edges sealed. If you don't seal your edges, your meringue will weep. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's like a brown, watery looking. And as soon as it comes out of the oven, if I didn't seal them good enough, we'll know. All right. The oven's at 350. Let's put our pie in the oven. All right, I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes and I'll be watching it. And yes, I've burned meringue before. That's probably why I don't make it anymore. All right, guys, there's my coconut cream pie. And I'm amazed at myself. I think I should have left it in a little bit longer. It probably could have cooked a little bit longer. I was afraid to do so. The edges here are golden brown, but the tips were starting to burn. I think it's mostly the coconut. But anyway, there you go. I'm amazed with myself. I might actually have to make another cream pie. Either that or maybe I don't like our renters so much. Maybe we'll just keep this for ourselves, and whatever you do, don't tell them I did that, okay? All right, guys, see y'all later.